Warning, you are about to enter the BGP suite. No thongs, no boy shorts, no thigh highs, no commandos are permissible. BGP, big girl panties only. So pull up to woman up. And no, please don't leave with your panties in a bunch.
Two questions. Number one, do you actually know when your woman is faking an orgasm? Number two, do you even care?
Good question.
Welcome back to BGP, aka Big Girl Panties, and we have a very hot topic for you today. Before we start this discussion, we ask that if you haven't subscribed to our channel, to go ahead and do that for us. We'd also like you to push like on the video, and after you view the video, please leave us a comment and tell us what you think. DJ Envy from The Breakfast Club and his wife Gia Casey are currently on tour. They appeared on the Shade Room to discuss their book. And during the interview, they discussed a very controversial part of the book. Gia and DJ Envy were having a heated argument, and during the argument, DJ Envy decided that he would diffuse the situation by offering sex. Gia Casey said, because I don't even come.
Ooh.
He said, yes, you do. She said, no, I don't. He said, you do, because I hear the sounds. Ooh, 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 ah. She said, yeah, because I be faking it. He said, how many times? She said, all the time.
Oh.
Which equaled 10 years. Ladies, when you first heard that, what were your thoughts? Adrianne.
Oh. Well, my first thought was, well, yeah, sometimes you do kind of, well, I do, I should say. I have faked it before a couple of times, so I was like, oh, but she got, I thought the way that, yeah, why did I end up down here so far? Okay. Yeah, I can relate, and I think sometimes, and like, much like what he had responded to, yeah, it keeps falling. Okay, it happens occasionally that you do fake. Maybe you're ready to get it over with. Maybe it just things aren't hitting like you want it to. Maybe you got somewhere to go, and you want to just shut it down real quick. So sometimes you do, and sometimes even just for the fact that you feel like they're really giving their all, that you want to pump your man up and make him feel good about his what he's doing, so you might fake a little bit. So I did agree with her that sometimes, but for 10 years, I know early on as a young girl, I had experience early, but I think for years I didn't experience an orgasm, not until I was I had been pregnant and everything. So I think it's possible that you could go many, many years without even having that. So yeah,
Here she was.
You want to know what went through my
Your
mind
first
when I first heard it? I was like, ouch. That's sad, especially if you're married and you're not really you're basically saying you're not being pleased sexually. And then because I know the history, a little bit of history about them, about, stuff that I'm sure you're going to mention, that's really sad because he's he's done his thing, and I know she was a virgin, so when they got married, so if she's a virgin, then I'm curious as to why. I had a whole bunch of things going through my mind. I'll start with that.
Okay. First of all, what I don't like is when YouTubers take one segment of a broadcast and then blow it out the water. They were saying that Jada Pinkett 2.0. They said she Will Smithed him. She said that they said that DJ Envy was a simp. He didn't know how to put it down in the bedroom. She was disrespectful. He emasculated her. No, I'm lying. She emasculated him. So just like Neisha said, we like to do things a little thorough. So let's go back and talk about the history of DJ Envy and Gia Casey. They met when she was 15 and he was 16. They got together and decided that they were going to have a monogamous relationship when she was 17. So he probably would have been about 17, 18 years old. They both were virgins. So when she was 17, she got into a fight. And in New York, they carry razor blades. And a young lady slashed her face from the side of her mouth to her ear. And she said it was a hideous scar. So she went on a talk show circuit. She was on Sally Jesse Raphael. She was on Geraldo. And when she got on Geraldo and told her story, afterwards he volunteered to pay for her surgery. So that's how she got her face fixed. And if you look at her very carefully, you can still see there's a scar going all across her face. So here's my first question for the audience and for you ladies. Do we think that a man, well, this wasn't even a man, this was a young boy, at 17 would get with a woman, her face gets slashed wide open, and then stay with her?
I think it depends on the man. I can't speak for.
I don't think that most young men would do that. A hideous scar of that nature, I don't know how long that it would take for her to heal so they could be accepting of that. Here's the thing. They did everything that the YouTube gender wars are fighting about right now. They got together young. He had a purpose. She acquiesced to his purpose. They got married. They had children. They've been together 27 years. They've been married 21 years. They have kids. 6 children. So hit dogs holler the loudest. I think that a lot of the men were upset because somebody has told them that they didn't come when they were having sex with them and they thought they were putting it down. And if you have not recovered from that kind of tragedy, it will trigger you. So it triggered a lot of men. Do you think that she's Jada 2.0?
No.
Why not?
I mean, I think, well, they wrote a book together. So this was spoken on in the book. It wasn't a case of like, let's embarrass my husband. Because if we really want to be honest about that, he definitely embarrassed her first. And I'm not just talking about her speaking on that orgasm, but I mean, he cheated on her. And he cheated on her with a chick that was from Love and Hip Hop. So all of that came out before anything. That's why he came out afterwards with the black men don't cheat thing after that to say only black males cheat, not black men. So no, I don't think it was a Jada Pinkett move. I think it was just two people in a marriage speaking on their inexperience and what they've had to work through to get to a better, position in life as a couple. That's what I see it as.
I agree. I feel the same. I don't think it's anything nearly like the whole Jada thing. I look at their book somewhat like a self-help type thing, like a opportunity to share with other couples that this kind of thing does go on. Occasionally you do. I don't think it was put out there in an embarrassing way. Yeah, he probably felt some kind of way because dudes do. That's like their little macho thing,
right?
About how they're putting it down, but I don't think it was like that at all.
Yeah, they've already discussed this. They have a podcast together.
Exactly.
And they discussed this on their podcast 4 years ago. So they've already reconciled with the issue enough where they can make it public. It's the people that are just now hearing about it, like I said, that were triggered, that made them say, oh, she's a Jada 2.0, she Will Smithed him. She didn't. Jada's situation is totally different from Gia's situation. Like Neisha said, Gia was a virgin, so was DJ Envy. Jada has already disclosed that she is a sex addict. She can really not be satisfied. And they didn't have any reference to if the sex was good or bad. You know, nobody had their whole phase. You know what I'm saying? So she had nothing to compare. So there's a meme, or there is a meme that comes out periodically that asks the question, ladies, would you like a man that gave you the desires of your heart, but the sex was whack? Or would you like great sex and the dude was a bum and he couldn't keep a job? So some will say, I want the man that gives me the desires of my heart. I'll get a side man. And some say, I want the broke dude with the good sex. And then some ladies will say, neither. So here's my thing. We talk about we don't want community dick. And then we say we don't like the virgin man. So we're going to have to pick a door. She did not emasculate him.
No.
This is something that they discussed. And like Adrianne said, it probably was embarrassing to his sexual ego. I think that had she disclosed it earlier, their sex life would have been more enjoyable for a longer period of time. But she actually admitted to weaponizing it at the time. She didn't want to say it then. It just came out, and she feels sorry for weaponizing it, but she just wasn't going to go through the sexual act anymore. Here's the thing. She said that he's a great husband. He's a great man. He's a great father. He's generous. He's loving. He's kind. He's funny. He's romantic. And she said she was paying him for his hard work. And there's also in one of Cardi B's songs, broke niggas don't get no pussy, right?
They said they don't deserve it.
Yeah, they don't deserve it. Or sex is for men that have a job. So maybe she was getting 90% of what she wanted. The man of her dreams. She enjoyed him inside of her. And just because she did not have an orgasm doesn't mean that she had terrible sex.
True. I was just going to say that. Yeah. But here's the thing. She's missing something very great. Right.
That's what I'm like.
Here's my thought about it. You have two unexperienced people that have come together to lay down and have sex.
Right.
Both of them don't know what they're doing.
Right.
Both of them don't even know what to get from it or where that pleasure comes from. So they probably spent a long period of time just figuring out what to hit, where to hit it, where to touch, what, you know what I'm saying? So at least usually when you get with somebody that has some experience, they can kind of feel around and they know what to look for to hit those spots that you need hit. In their case, although it's kind of cutesy that they both came together and they were virgins, but then on the flip side, you have to look at the part where who's leading this sexual experience here. So they were both they were learning as they went. You know what I mean? So, but again, that doesn't mean that she didn't enjoy it. There's a whole lot of little pleasure points that don't necessarily make you have an orgasm, but they feel good.
Yeah.
And so maybe at least he hit those.
And I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand.
Right.
You know, because they do have those comparisons. His dick is little, his dick is big. He can't do fellatio, he can, you know, blah, 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 blah. But here's the thing. That's a great love story. For me, that's a great love story. Like you said, they were both young, they were both inexperienced, and oftentimes women will complain, and I know this is true because I worked in the salon for 30 years, that like The Color Purple, when Celie said, Mr. just get on top of me and do his business. Some men think when they up in there and they just digging and digging and digging and digging, if they feeling good, you feeling good. You know, I got mine. I hope you got yours.
Exactly.
Some men, do you have your eyes open? Do you be listening? Because I don't understand how a man cannot know whether his woman is excited, having pleasure. She moving around. She jumping. This feels good. She like, don't do that. Hold up, wait. You know, because some men are selfish in the bed.
Yes.
They just want to do their thing. You know what I'm saying? What you got to say?
I agree. Some men are selfish, but I think that, I hate using it in this term, but it is true. Communication is key. Like, I think that even if you don't want to do it during, but after, like, you should be able to have discussions and be like, is there something that you feel I need to work on? Is there something you want to try out? is there something that you like? What do you really like when we have sex? Certain position, you know, you prefer being on top, you prefer getting it from the back, you prefer, like, is there something that you really enjoy when we have sex so that both he or she can at least do that so somebody can get some excitement? I mean, yes, we as women, we can fake it, but men can fake it too. And, and sometimes they don't say nothing either. And as far as I understand, a lot of men can't stand when we step as a, you know, board where we just laying there like, you know. So, I mean, I guess if they're both inexperienced, they both come together and explore, you know, their first time or whatnot with one another in their marriage or whatnot, I guess I can see how they can be naive. I can see that. And if you were never taught or you never figured out on your own as a woman how to figure out your pleasure zones to make sure that you do orgasm, I can see how you miss out on that too. It's tough because, I mean, I had a sex spurt in my life. So, you know, I don't know. It's tough though. But I definitely think communication would be key. So
true.
Yeah,
I think we need to know our bodies as women. We need to know and be, like you said, communicate to our partners what turns you on, what pleasures you, what makes you feel good, and if you have to guide them around there a little bit, you do that. But I think sometimes we are responsible for our pleasure in that area. Sometimes, if that even means showing them a little bit, they might get feel a little funny in the beginning because it's like, oh, I know what I'm doing, you know. But I think later on they appreciate it once they see you getting such enjoyment out of it. So I think it's important for us too to know our bodies and be able to communicate to our partner what we need.
What the old folks used to say, young, dumb, and full of cum, right? And just like Adrianne said, we both, male and females, have to be in tune with our sexuality. If I don't know how to please myself, I will not know how to please someone else. And like Neisha said, there are some men out here, they get it on the first try. Some men, you know, it takes a couple of times to get it. Some men ain't gonna never get it. But I also have to agree that communication is the key. I, for one, could not last 10 years.
No.
I couldn't last 10 months.
No.
I'm not going 10 days. I'm very vocal in the bedroom, and I'm going to tell you what I like and what I don't like. But like I said, they were young. She loved her husband. He gave her the desires of her heart, and she didn't have the words to say it at that time. And it didn't really sound like it was such a deal breaker because she was with him.
Yeah.
She loved him.
Right.
She bore him children. She cooked, she cleaned, you know. She did everything with a happy face. And as far as we know, she never went outside of the house to seek outside pleasure.
Exactly.
So what we have to understand is that 15% of all women claim to have never had an orgasm. And do you guys know some of the reasons why?
Wait, 15?
15%. They said 15%.
I thought it was more. Interesting.
There was one that said 54%, but that was a few years back. But this one was like 2019, and it said 15%.
Well, then I guess it dropped. It's a hell of a drop. Do I know why they don't experience it?
Yeah. Could we think about why they couldn't experience
an orgasm? I mean, I think, one, like we mentioned earlier, not knowing your body. Two, it could be also like if you've experienced trauma, you know, at a point in your life, it's kind of, and you haven't worked through it, it's kind of hard to enjoy something, you know, as beautiful as sex can be. Those are a few things that I could think of.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too, is trauma. A lot of people never experience a good sex life after they've either been raped, molested, whatever the case may be, because it triggers them. So like Neisha was saying, unless they've worked through it, sometimes they can get past it. But I know several people that still do not have a good experience with sex. It's okay for them if they could go months and months and months without it. I know some people that have experienced domestic violence for so long that they'll stay in a relationship that just is in a safe zone, even if the sex is not good. Everything else might be okay. They're well taken care of. They're whatever, but that part is lacking. And for a person that's like a huge thing for them. That could be usually a deal breaker, but for some it's okay because at least they're safe. They're no longer dealing with the violence or the abuse.
Yeah.
I would say stress.
Yeah, stress can play a part too.
There are a lot of women that cannot orgasm via penetration. They need oral stimulation. They need breast stimulation. They need you to set the mood. They need music. They might need eye-to-eye contact. They might like the sound of your voice. You know what I'm saying? Some women have masturbated since they were 9 years old, and they've been working their fingers for a long time, and the sensation is no longer there. So they can't get off from a man. They got to do it themselves. You got these sex toys out here right now.
Ooh,
The sex
The rose.
the sex industry is a $51 billion business globally. It is a $7 billion business in the United States alone. So you got these ladies out here on the internet talking about the squirrel, the rose, and now the hammer. And so some of those sex toys are not good for you, although you think they are, and a man cannot compete with a machine. So that's why a lot of women are not masturbating as well. Masturbation, I believe, is a connection of the body and the soul and the mind, and how the two of you are having this, like Neisha said, beautiful dance, and the connection, not just the attachment. And some men think once they put it in there, you know, some men kiss you for 2 seconds, lick a nipple,
then they ready.
And be like, all right, let's go.
Like,
You're
come on
dry
now.
as you're dry as a green Brillo pad on the other side of the sponge, and they just drop it in there, and you like, ooh, and they think you like, ooh, because
Right.
it
You're
feels
like,
good,
no,
and you like, ooh,
that
what
hurts.
is you doing?
Right.
So yeah, taking your time, you know, men don't need to warm up. Once they're there,
They
they're
there.
there.
They
you know,
ready.
women need to warm up. You need to incorporate some foreplay and soften her up a little bit. But yeah,
I think, too, one of the biggest mistakes men make is they think every woman is the same. They forget that what pleasures Sally don't necessarily pleasure Sue. You know what I mean? So they need to, that's where, like you said, the communication, you getting to know that person's body, you getting to know his. Because, okay, right now we're focusing on us getting ours, but there's some little different things that we can do to them to make them feel like, like where they stuck, like you getting stalked next week, you know? So I think it's we have to be, they have to be fair in realizing that we're all different. You know, like you could lick my neck and I'm like ready to go, and somebody else may be, you
like,
know, you could just
don't lick my neck.
right? So it just depends, and you have to know your partner.
All three of us could have had sex with the same man.
Yeah.
I might have said it was the bomb. Neisha might have been like, it is all right. And Adrianne might have been like, never again. Okay. you know what I'm saying? Like you said, to each his own.
Yes.
And we have to remember also that some men say that sex is only for procreation and it's not meant to be enjoyable. So yeah, it's all types of scenarios that come in. I think it was a beautiful love story. I think it's a story of the good and the bad, and how they got over it. Like Neisha said, he cheated on her. And the part about him cheating on her that I don't like is that once a man gets caught cheating, he always says the other woman was terrible. So he said
to make her feel better, the wife feel better. Yeah.
Is it to make the wife feel better
I
or
think
make
so.
him feel better?
I think it's to make the wife feel better. Like, oh, she was trash. It was just sex. It was,
Right.
She wasn't even great. Like,
Yeah, because he said she was beneath him, way beneath him. She was a thought.
Yeah.
She didn't want anything. He didn't have to buy her anything. You know, she just wanted to be around. Well, isn't that one of the reasons that you pick a woman?
Right.
Or in this high value man type of thing. She didn't want him for his money. She just wanted to be around him. So damned if you do and damned if you don't. I don't like that he trashed her. I think that he owes her apology as well. You know, when you're going to heal everybody that was, you know, in this scenario.
yeah.
Y'all got anything else you want to say?
I would just say I don't think it's a Jada situation. I'm going to go back to that. And I think that at least as a married couple, they was able to kind of work through their situation, because some people don't come back from that. And some women it's been seen that some women literally divorce at the hands of like poor sex. Like, you know what, I'm not satisfied, I'm not happy, this is, it's not going anywhere, so I'm just going to end it and find somebody else that can satisfy me. And so the fact that they've been able to work through it, go through the counseling, figure out what it is that each person needs so that they both can be satisfied in the marriage, I mean, I give them kudos for that. Like, that's a good thing. That's what's up. Mm-hmm. So that's my thought. I mean, they stuck it out, because some people don't. Some people just walk away. So I think it's a good thing. I don't see it as a bad thing. I don't think it's a way of her trying to embarrass him. I think it was a way of showing other people that may be out there experiencing it, like, you know what, we went through that too, and these are the steps that we've gone through to kind of work through it. Because as she said now, she's like, oh no, I'm satisfied now. Like, everything is good now. It's not like it was before. So I tip my hats to him. I think it's
Before you interject your final thought, let me just add this. I love the part when she discovered that he was cheating. She told him she was out of here. He tried to commit suicide. He went into the garage and turned all the cars on.
Yeah.
And they took him to the hospital, and he escaped. And
just in the nick of time.
I think in another, of course, in another broadcast, we talked about how when we found out Neisha and her husband were about to break up, we would throw a party for them. Mm-hmm. There would be an intervention. So I love the part where they said that her friend, who never liked DJ Envy, heard about the cheating. She had canceled Christmas, and he said he was flying out to intervene. And then Tyrese called DJ Envy, and he said, you don't know me, God sent me, I'm coming out. And he told them to book a room at a specific hotel. He brought his guitarist and his background singer, and he sang for them. I love that part, that in today's era, we cheer when people break up. Mm-hmm. We, applaud it, because most people are not in relationships, but there were outside people that came in to help them, assist them stay together. I really like that part.
Yeah.
I think in closing, I appreciate their transparency and willing to put the story out there, and with hopes that it's going to help other couples, because I think, like you said, we're so quick to shut down relationships. I think when you are in a committed relationship, in a marriage especially, you're going to always be working through something at some point in that relationship, whether it's the sex has gone down and you need to bring it back up, or somebody has committed infidelity, whatever the case may be, you're always going to have to find a way to work through things. And the fact that they've put theirs out there, an open book, literally, to share with the world how you can work through certain things. I think that's that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's like, again, I've just smiled. It's a beautiful love story. They've been together 27 years. Some people can't even be together 27 minutes. They can't even fathom being with one person that long and not being faithful to them. They were young. They grew each other up. They grew up together. They're best friends.
They're a cute couple, too.
Yeah, they're a cute couple. A beautiful thing. And like Adrianne said, transparency, so other people can see you can work through anything.
Yeah.
I also just want to say that there are some men out here that have been with women 5, 10, 20 years that could not pick their woman's vagina out of a lineup. They don't even know what a clitoris is. They be down there with their eyes closed. I need you men to talk to your women. Please your women. They want to be pleased. They want to please you back. I don't have anything else. Like, share, subscribe. Leave us a comment in the comment section. Tell us what you think. And until the next episode, BGP, glad to have you here. We're out.
Bye.
Warning.